Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be going over the Flame Leper set. This thing is pretty dope. I like it a lot. It's really strong. I will say before we even get into it, this build kind of sucks at killing the big guys in Target Guitar, like the Arbiters. It kind of sucks against those guys, but literally everything else, this thing shines. Is really good. Let's get into it. So first things first, if you don't know what the Flame Leper set does, when you inflict toxic on an enemy 3 times, it turns into Blight Fire. And all Blight Fire is a more potent version of toxic. It just does more damage. And it's kind of hard to tell exactly how much more damage. I'm pretty sure somebody has done the numbers out there, but there's so many ticks going on. There's so many numbers popping up on the screen that it's kind of hard to see exactly how much more damage it's doing, but it does more damage. So that's pretty good. Now, before we jump into the armor, let's look at the weapons really quick. The weapons don't matter as much, but it is good to have something decent to fall back on in case you forget to, reload your rockets or your minigun. And pretty much the main thing I use here is the Hellborn. This sniper is pretty cool. Whenever you shoot the ground, it causes like a little volcano to pop up, and I rolled Firestorm on it. And whenever you hit something with the your shot, it drops down the beam out the sky. These two look pretty cool when they land together, and it actually does pretty good damage, especially towards like bigger targets. So this is pretty much what I use. And then my other gun is just a assault rifle, nothing really special. I rolled Relativity Theorem on it. I thought that would help the build, but it doesn't really do too much. It does come in handy, but you could put whatever there. It doesn't really matter. Now, moving on to the armor. And for the sake of the video, I'm just going to be using the full set of Flame Leper. Now, I wouldn't normally use a full set. I would just, substitute, some of the pieces for some legendaries. And I actually do have a pair of boots and gloves that I'm going to substitute. But just for the sake of the video, keeping it simple, I'm just going to use the full set. So if you find a piece that has like a better rolled, mods on it, just plug those in. And starting off with the helmet, I re-rolled the first perk. I don't remember what was there. Actually, yes, it was the Blight Around perk. But we removed that and we put the Cold Snap Long Winter perk on there. It's a tier 1. It increased the radius of Cold Snap by 50%. The third mod slot is, I would like something else there, maybe like the Damage to Elites one, but it's fine. It works out. And then you got Radical Therapy, 8% more damage to enemies afflicted by toxic. That's going to go great with the actual setup. For the chest piece, this chest piece is pure god roll. Like, this thing's amazing. It rolled with Icicle Storm in the 3rd slot. We pretty much got the Borealis, the main reason people use Borealis, in the 3rd slot, so that was really lucky. And then I re-rolled the 2nd perk to Quartermaster, and that's going to give us the ability to reload our weapons whenever we use Fixing Wave. And of course, we got Party Starter in the 1st slot. That's going to give us increased strength of Fixing Wave depending on how many enemies are surrounding us. So that's going to give us a pretty good heal if we need it. And then on the legs, we got Virulent Compound, which deals 10% more damage to elites affected by toxic or Blight Fire. They're always going to have Blight Fire or toxic on them, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I rolled Euthanizer, 16% more damage to enemies afflicted by toxic. And I don't know if this goes for Blight Fire or not. I'm assuming it does. Don't quote me on that. I think it works. And then we got Super Lucky. We got Shatter in the 3rd slot. That is perfect. And then moving on to the gloves, we got License to Heal. So Fixing Wave is going to give us 10% more weapon damage, which is going to stack with a node inside of our class tree. And then we also get 4 seconds of infinite ammo. So we're never going to run out of ammo on our rocket launcher or our turrets or a sniper, whatever you're using. You pretty much don't have to reload ever. And then I rolled Toxic Piercer on it, so the effectiveness of Toxic is increased by 25%, which is how much resistance piercing I got on my character. And then we also rolled Trample the Weak inside the 3rd slot, so that's going to give us 12% more damage to enemies afflicted by weakness. And last but not least, the boots. We got Emergency Stance on the 3rd mod slot, which is pretty good. And then we have Bad Medicine, so whenever we overheal ourselves, we're going to inflict toxic to, enemies around us. This is pretty good. We get some pretty good damage from this. And it also combos well with Party Starter, which is what we have on our chest piece. And the more enemies that surround us, the stronger, the effect is. And the last mod inside of the build is going to be Breathe In. And what this does is going to reduce the cooldown of Fixing Wave by 20%. And it's going to apply weakness to enemies within 10 meters. So we're going to be debuffing everything, and it's going to also pair pretty well with one of the nodes inside of the PAX tree. But before we stop there, let's take a quick look at the class tree. and this one's pretty funky looking, but we do start off with the going on the bottom paths, picking up a lot of these anomaly nodes because these got buffed recently, so these are actually pretty good. And then we're going to go up through the middle, we're going to pick up Wipeout, then we're going to move on down the line. I'm not going to go over all the nodes, but you can just follow what I got here. It's pretty good. And then we want overclocked at the end because this is going to give us more anomaly power and weapon damage whenever we use, one of our skills. And we're going to be spamming those non-stop, so this is pretty good. And then we're going to go back to the middle and pick up these first two just for the cooldown. And that's the class tree. If you want to read over them yourself, you can, go over all the nodes. But those are the major ones. And then on the pack tree, we're going to pick up Initial Striker, Lethal Devices, Painkiller, Permanence, which is going to give our Toxic 100% chance to inflict a random status, which is pretty good. And then Dissection. So we're going to be doing a lot more damage just because of these perks. Dissection, you deal 5% more damage to every enemy status affected on them. So once you start getting all your status effects rolling, they're going to be taking a lot more damage. Now moving on to the actual skills we're going to be using. Of course, we're going to be using Fix and Wave. We're going to be using Cold Snap as well. And we're also going to be using the Tool of Destruction. And all of these skills synergize very well. They kind of complement each other. They all roll into one another. And they all apply statuses. So you're going to be pretty much burning down entire rooms. And the way this build actually works is you kind of want to pick the biggest target in the room and focus that down with your, Tool of Destruction, whether you're using the minigun or the rocket launcher. And while you're doing that, you just want to spam your Cold Snap and your Fix and Wave. Now what that's going to do is while you're focusing down the big targets, everything else around you is just going to be melting away, over time. And before you know it, the whole room's cleared and you're only really shot like 5 guys. And this is also going to keep you pretty safe because the Cold Snap with the extra range, like nothing's going to be, hitting you in the back. Everything's going to be frozen. And in the class tree, we picked up the node where enemies are frozen for longer. So they're pretty much froze the entire time your cooldown is running. So once your Cold Snap is up, just throw another one down and everything is pretty much, at a standstill. And also because we have Icicle Storm on the chest piece, which is going to, at this level, whenever enemies explode from the kill snap, they're going to, cause 3.4 million damage per explosion. So groups of enemies are just going to be getting erased. And it's also pretty satisfying just to stand there and watch everything just slowly melt away and there's nothing they can do about it. And every time you pop your Fix and Wave, you're going to get infinite ammo for a couple seconds. You're going to get a lot of extra weapon damage for a couple seconds. And you're also going to refill the mag on your rocket launcher or your minigun. So just watch out for that. When it comes to the minigun, you don't really have to worry about running out of ammo as long as you're using abilities. But the rocket, you only get 4. So just be a little bit careful to make sure before you empty it to pop another Fix and Wave. Now, like I said earlier in the video, the only real downfall of this build is the arbiters inside of the Target Guitar area. Those guys, like, if you can get the crits on them with the minigun, it's pretty good, but I haven't found a way to melt those guys. But literally for everything else, expeditions, pretty much every other room inside the endgame area, everything's a piece of cake. There's no issues whatsoever. It's super hard for you to die. You do so much damage, you have so much crowd control, but it just sucks against that one particular boss. But other than that, this build's amazing. I love it. This might replace my Grim Inventor set. I don't know what set I'm going to try next, but this might be my favorite so far. It's a different way to play the game. And if anybody has been having trouble trying to get a set to work, let me know if you need some help in the comments. I'll get my brain racking. Might take a while to farm up the gear. Takes forever in this game, but we keep on moving. And that's all I got for you guys today. Again, my name is Alex. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, all that shenanigans, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.